This is Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth.
Welcome back. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth, proudly on. Say it with me now. AFR Talk. Normally at this time we are speaking with my favorite guest of the week. Not a shot at any other guest. Just is Pastor Aaron Free. Afternoons with Aaron. He's under the weather, but he will be back next week, and we will keep those prayers and make good on those prayers to come to Christ. So if you want to put your name down, you can. We just transfer him over. He puts the names down, and we load up, sometimes double up, the next week. You can do that at the Facebook page, by the way. So, Benghazi, 9/11, we've talked about a lot. The murder, the killing of 4 Americans, including our ambassador. The mother of one of the victims, Sean Smith, was interviewed last night by CNN's Jake Tapper. If you're looking for a bright light at CNN, yeah, Jake Tapper. I said that before he went to CNN and otherwise. Not perfect, certainly. I've been critical of some things, I'm sure, in the past, but overall, he does ask some very good questions. And really, if we're looking for balance, I think there's an aspect of awareness of the leftist tilt in the mainstream media, which he's mentioned before. Nevertheless, last night he was speaking with Pat Smith, mother of Sean Smith, and asking her about what she was looking for out of Benghazi. And she, a year later, what is she looking for? And, well, here's her answer. Roll it.
Answers. I am so afraid that nobody's come up to take responsibility for what Hillary did, that she will become president and more of our people are going to be murdered and thrown to the dogs because nothing has happened. Nobody has done anything. Everybody says, what difference does it make anyway?
Incredibly frustrating. Now, who said that? Oh, yeah, that's when outgoing Secretary of State at the time, Hillary Clinton, was testifying, and she was answering a few questions on what happened and what was the reason behind it and why did they blame it on the video. And here is that exchange. Roll it.
We didn't know that.
With all due respect, the fact is we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make? It is our job to figure out what happened and do everything we can to prevent it from ever happening again, Senator. Now, honestly, I will do my best to answer your questions about this, but the fact is that people were trying in real time to get to the best information. The IC has a process, I understand, going with the other committees to explain how these talking points came out. But, you know, to be clear, it is, from my perspective, less important today, looking backwards, as to why these militants decided they did it, than to find them and bring them to justice. And then maybe we'll figure out what was going on in the meantime.
Well, we've had access to those that, or excuse me, specifically one that we've charged with this, being part of this, and yet we haven't had justice. So that leaves Mrs. Smith and the families and Americans still questioning, why aren't we seeing this? Especially in light of the fact that we have CNN news crews chasing him down, and they actually have had interviews like this one that you'll hear, and then you will hear the response from Sean Smith's mom to the interview with Katala, one of the people that allegedly participated in the attack in some way. He's been interviewed not only by CNN, but by AP. Here was the CNN interview. Roll it.
She
Did anyone from the American or the Libyan government side try and get in touch with you?
Never.
Never?
Never.
And if they tried, are you ready to meet with them?
Yes, no problem. But not as an interrogation, as a conversation like the one we are having with you now.
What's your
I
response?
heard this months ago.
Yeah.
I heard this interview months ago. And I've been waiting for something to happen, and as previous, nothing happened. They don't want to do anything. They don't want it shown. They don't want it talked about. They don't want it mentioned. All they want to do is cover their own butts. And I don't think it's very fair to the American public in any way, shape, or form.
Well, it's not. And it's especially not fair to you. Now, before the segment that we had tonight, I was talking about this last night and how this is personal. I think we all feel the emotion of the event as the tragedy and the outrage so many of us feel at not getting answers. And the reason we're not getting answers is even when President Obama's administration, like the Chief of Staff, McDonough, who was on the Sunday shows this past weekend, are asked about it, they simply don't answer the question. Listen to this exchange between Chris Wallace of Fox News and White House Chief of Staff McDonough. Roll it.
There's been no arrest, while at the same time, Katala has given interviews to CNN, to AP, and to the New York Times. Why is it that reporters seem to be able to find this guy who the government is charging for involvement in Benghazi, but our law enforcement can't find him?
Look, we've been very clear that we will hold those people who carried out this dastardly, heinous attack against our people
It's
to
been
account.
a year, sir.
It has been a year, and you know what the United States does, Chris? Is we track every lead until we find and can accomplish what we say we will do.
But why
This
can't,
president
why
has,
can't we find
this
Katala
president
when
has
AP can?
This president has demonstrated that, and we will do that.
Again, finally, not to belabor it, but why can AP find him? Why can the New York Times find him and not our government?
The United States government does what it says, and we will do what we say in this instance, as we do in every other instance, Chris. I have no doubt about that.
Now, why is it that this man is only answering the question once from the likes of Chris Wallace? He's running out of time. He asked the question. He can only do so much. Chris Wallace is not only personally just a great guy, he's also a very good journalist. And he did what he was supposed to do. He asked the follow-up. Now, the answer speaks for itself. But when it comes to the mainstream media, even if there's no story, even if the question is answered, they will follow up until they are satisfied that they feel that the answer is sufficient for their audience, us, being the fourth estate that they are. But that only tilts one way, and that's why we have what we have today. And why we are seeing it so clearly is because now there's an alternative in the sense of a new media. Now, we've talked about that before. Here's the point. Things are getting better because we are seeing it full frontal. We're seeing the failures full frontal. I don't think failure is good. Hey, if Keynesian economics worked, I think we'd all be behind it. It doesn't. And we also understand that the entire legislative agenda that we've seen put forth that was ostensibly going to solve these problems has not done that. Now we take Benghazi and we take the lie that was told to the American people. And the person who told that lie, well, she was following orders. She had the talking points. Yeah, but she went on 5 Sunday shows and she told the American people and blamed it on video, said it wasn't a terrorist attack. That's a problem. When 60 Minutes holds that information, that's corruption. When President Obama and CNN Candy Crawley goes in and pretty much infects and contaminates the debate by allowing the president to say something that was not true contextually, well, that's a problem too. And that starts to build. And you do see the mainstream media desiring to let go of this story as the administration is trying to let go of the story. And you know what keeps this story going? You. So when you're feeling powerless, understand this is still a story. We still haven't gotten the truth. It still is just as outrageous as it was that night and awful, maybe even more because we know more about the deception. And that's how our government works, because they hear from us and they go to a healthcare conference or a town hall on healthcare, and our representative, our senator, gets a question about Benghazi. And they're not letting it go. We can also say the same thing about the IRS. But to stick with Benghazi, when we are told that the president and the left always says how much they care about the troops, and they accuse President Bush for years of lying. And President Bush didn't lie. Michael Barone did a great piece on this. Didn't lie. But they said it. He was only saying what was said by the very people accusing him of lying. But I've gone over that a lot this week because I can't stand the Iraq lie, because it hurts our ability to defend ourselves. And it also, it smears the sacrifice that so many have made. If you want to get Iraq right, understand that we were in a much better position when President Obama took over, and he lost that because he wasn't able to secure the status of forces agreement. When it comes to Benghazi, we haven't gotten the truth, and it is frustrating. But what's good about it is a story, and we're not letting go of it until we do get the truth. So maybe the mainstream media at some point has to recognize it. Now, certain outlets will not. But the good news is there are outlets that do. And they are putting the pressure on. And that's how action is taken. Because there's pressure from the people and government who are supposed to hold these people to account. Legally and with respect for the rule of law. And that's important. That's a great thing. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth, AFR Talk.